everybody, this is Commander from Aiken Saber Academy. Bear with us tonight. We are trying a new streaming camera called a Mevo. I'm running it from an app here. If this project works out, eventually the plan is to get 3 of these things and do it. We find that with the Mevo, we can not only stream straight to Facebook like we would with one of our phones, but we have more control of how the picture is going to look. And we are also making a video copy at the same time. So what we wanted to do tonight is go ahead and do a review of the Ki Saber's Commander Pike. Here at Aiken Saber Academy, we use pikes in our training. Out in the real world of saber combat, there are a couple leagues where they have something called exotics, where pike combat is a thing. And so the new thing with we're talking about the Saber Combat League and of course the Saber Legion. So until now, most people who have pikes have either built them themselves or they went ahead and they had a company make it for them as a one-off specialty. So you can get parts from the custom saber shop and you can sort of put together your own pike. Now, what Ki Sabers has done is they've partnered with LGT, who make lightsabers and probably the biggest lightsaber manufacturer in the world, and of course they're in China, to make a manufactured for the masses pike. But before we get to that, we're going to show you some of the pikes that we've used here in Aiken Saber. At some point we may stop the stream and restart another stream with Nick and I, or come back with a separate video where Nick and I are actually demonstrating it. Okay, so Nick, let's pull the Bendu first. So what we're going to do is we are going to show you, and there's about a 4-second lag between what we're saying and what shows up. We're going to show you the Bendu pike. So you want to describe that?
Sure. So this is a carbon fiber sleeve. It's a short pike, or a very long sword, two-handed, and it's designed from their saber staff. So essentially what you're doing is you're just pulling out the staff area of the second staff and then having it as a long handle. And this does allow for some basic maneuvers in terms of pike and spear type of work, but again, really short handle. So you can't get a lot of extension and a lot of range, and it doesn't afford you your full capabilities in terms of technique for spear or naginata or anything like that.
Okay. So as you know, we've done a review of Bendu arms. Oh, batteries are dead. No, it's not. And so Bendu makes, it is dead. And I just put a new battery in it. Bendu makes a pretty good chassis. I just put another battery in it. This one has a profi board in it. I probably put in a half-dead battery. One of the things that Bendu does very well is they make a very heavy NeoPixel, because that's the world they operate in now, blade. Their NeoPixel blade, we've seen video of them smashing the blade against a tree. So it is a combat blade. As we extremely heavy for us here at Aiken Saber, this is not optimal since we use medium grade blades instead of this. And as Nick said, it's really more of a long saber than it is a pike. It's the balance. What'd you find of the balance?
It's fine two-handed.
Yeah, it is fine. The weight doesn't really matter other than the size. So we brought that because we own one. Bendu Arms or Bendu Armory had said that was a pike. So we're going to go off what the manufacturer said. It can operate as a pike. The next one we have.
This is the Ultra Sabers. And these were sold at one point in time. I don't know if they're actually available anymore.
They're still available.
And they are extenders that you can get. They're pretty girthy, and I don't know if you'll be able to see, but this is some pretty thick aluminum that's inside of there. And it goes on to a Ultra Saber hilt.
Right, so this is an Ultra Saber. Ultra Saber makes a pretty good outside as far as construction However, we have 15 of these in Aiken Saber. This is 4 AAA batteries. The red thing that you're seeing, and I'll bring it closer to the camera, that's I believe is a Miss Malice aftermarket chassis that we put on this. So this is either a Dominic's or an Aeon. A lot of people start with this when they go into Saber Combat. He's going to attach it. Somehow he's going to attach it to the what Ultra Saber calls a Yari, and a Yari setup runs $30 to $60. So roughly it's $30 for each extension. There's 2 extensions on there. The Saber itself is roughly $80 stunt Saber. What do you think?
Oh, I mean, I've used it. It is very heavy. It's you get tired when you're using this in a 3-minute bout. Compared to the other naginatas and spears that we have, it's definitely, because of this extra large and extra thick aluminum attachments that are here, it's definitely very weighty. Motion-wise, it still flows okay, but again, you're going to get tired using this. It's great for endurance building, and it's great to put up against somebody who's really fast. You can give them this and slow them down a little bit in terms of class and style, and also for weight training. When I pick up my spear and pike, it's so much lighter than if I'm training with this.
For us here at Aiken Saber, we don't really use thrusts. So this is the OG of pikes, if I may. Like a lot of Ultra Saber products, it's overbuilt. This is practically indestructible, but in terms of today's lighter technology, this is not optimal. And of course, the Saber that it's attached to, if you can imagine, without that chassis, the battery pack is now falling inside here. But it's attached to an ultra cheap Saber. But nowadays, you can buy a Ki Saber Persuader. That's the same cost as this, and you just get a more effective combat saber. But so I'm not going to say anything bad about Ultra Sabers. I'll let the community speak about it. Of course, we use it as a naginata, so you have to hit with the flat of the blade instead of a thrust. All right, let's talk about the next pike.
Oh, we're going to do the running next?
Yes, yes. All right. So the next pike was, for a long time, my favorite pike here in Aiken Saber Academy. Now what it is, it's a saber forged Ronin saber attached to some extenders which we received from or bought from Saber Forge. Absolutely nothing wrong with this saber. It's well built. It has stood the test of time. It's been here for roughly 2 years through thick and thin. The balance is outstanding. I haven't been able to figure out how to get the Zuba off of it for our uses, but the Zuba does come off. We bought the Ronin like that. If you've ever fenced with the Ronin, it's a very heavy saber. Still effective today if you're doing heavy bladed combat.
Yeah, it takes everything off.
It takes everything off.
This was my favorite one before I got my pike, and I like it because the length of it is near perfect for like if you've ever trained in Pudao or half staff bladed weapons in Chinese martial arts. So it affords a lot of motion and action that's directly transferable from those weapons. And it also has a good balance, and the extenders on them are very good for indexing. I've never had any issues with grip, comfort, as opposed to the one that we showed you previously, where it's just kind of hard to grab because it's so big. There's plenty of purchase points on here for good grip for whatever half long or short handle you want to grab on.
Yeah, so the only issue is that the cost of a Ronin by itself is about $175, which is not an unusual price. The extenders run approximately $25. I believe there's 3 extenders on there, so the whole Pike, the cost is going to be about $250 to $300. If you want to add sound or anything like that and go up to the next level, which I would not advise if you're actually using a combat saber, then the costs, of course, go up another $200 to $300 depending on whether you get NeoPixel or something else. Nothing wrong with this Pike. If you're going to buy a Pike and you want to just buy it ready-made, then certainly that's the way to go. And that was true until we started to get to more modern Pikes that are being built today. So I'm going to go ahead and let him introduce his own Pike, if you would, sir.
Oh, sure. So this is a Mando Core custom. They do a Pike, which again is a little shorter than that Ronin by about 6 inches, but it still is a good almost shoulder width and a half length. So you've got, again, that transfer of the wushu weapon skills over to this one. I like it because it's got that set screw here, which allows you to either remove that if you want to slide the blade all the way down, or stick it in to get that in there. And then it's got 2 retention screws that are set into the blade. So you know you're going to have a very solid purchase for your blade for combat and fighting. So that's one of the key things that I like about this from a design standpoint. Really well engineered, super simple. The chassis is down here in the hilt, and it's a standard Mando Core style, and interchangeable with any of their other equipment.
So what do you think is the only issue I have with that is in Saber Legion, the rules used to be a Pike can be as long as 6 foot between the hilt and the blade, and you couldn't have the blade longer than so many inches.
Yeah, all the rule systems are a little different. So the some of the rule systems are 72 inches, 6 foot, or you could only have a blade that's 22 inches long. You can have a hilt that's any length long. So it really depends on the style and the system that you're in. You'll definitely want to check the rule systems out to make sure that you're working with something that fits inside of their rule set.
Yeah,
Sure.
So
this is super light also.
Oh, it's oh my goodness, it's extremely light. I don't know. I'm sure it's durable. If you had a super heavy blade, it would probably leave some dings and scratches on it. But it is fast and quick and everything else that you would want. My only question is the length. Is there a way of buying extenders to extend this?
No. This is the length that they're building. I haven't seen them do anything longer than this at this point.
What's the cost point for that?
These run under $200 for, I think that they probably can get them for as low as like $150 on sale if you're not getting anything special with them.
Okay, so that brings us to tonight, and we're going to introduce the Commander by Ki Sabers. The Commander was a joint effort partnership between Ki Sabers and LGT Sabers. So that means that Ki Sabers made the design, but the electronics inside of it are all LGT. Okay, so a couple things. First of all, the parts. If you'll look at the Saber's got lots of segments. So you can make this as long or short as you want. Currently, with a full-size blade, it's probably about 9 feet. This is an LGT board in here, and let's see if I can bring this close to you so you can see it. And can you see it on that Saber? Okay, and he's extended it. And I have to be honest, when this arrived, the first board was deficient. So I could not charge it and it wouldn't work. I called Ki Sabers up, and like everything that Ki built, he supports it. Within a few days, I had a brand new board sent to me, and I've had no single problem. But this shows you the variability and the customization that you can do with this saber. All right. One of the other things, the cost on this Ki Saber is $250, give or take. So let's put it on. This is their stunt combat version. Thank you very much. Stunt combat version. And it has the ability, if I can get it, to change the blade color. Do I need that in a combat saber? No. You can get this saber at $250 as it is here, or you can take it up $400 or more, depending on whether you put a profi board into it, or if you go ahead and you make it NeoPixel or the rest. Nick, what do you think?
This is the first time I've got to touch it, so it's definitely full spear length. So from that standpoint, your action on this is really nice. It's a little heavy, but you would expect that for this length of hilt that you'd be working with. And in terms of its feel, it feels pretty good. Ooh,
why don't you take it down to the size of the Roman?
Yeah, we'll definitely do that when we fight.
Yeah. So eventually we're gonna fight. So what else do you think about it?
Yeah, I like it, and I think that it's nice being able to change your blade color, because if you're fighting against somebody with the same blade color, you can switch yours real quick before the fight starts.
So it's a nice feature. One of the other nice features is, what do you call this?
The
emitter.
Emitter.
Yeah. So one of the other things is that you can buy them with different emitters. So I chose to use this. I think if I were doing combat, I would probably go with a much simpler. Or if you want to do cosplay and take the blade off, you could put something like this on it and make it a wizard staff and put a blade plug in the top of this, and it'll shine lights all throughout that. So it's a well designed saber for the price. We're going to go ahead and just for right now, let's just hit them together, see how it feels.
Sure.
Okay.
Oh, you want to?
No, go ahead.
Okay.
I'll use this. All right. So, you think we're in a field of view?
Yeah, this is marks the quarter.
Okay. So. If you see, my Roman's already taken a hit. Do an overhead block.
I want to stab so bad with this.
All right, if you can stab gently within here, there you go.
Yeah, I mean, look at the range on that. That's crazy.
Yeah, it's pretty crazy. So obviously they're not going to be fighting at that. The reason this is named after the commander is I talked Ki Sabers into finally getting this into production. I think there is no other mass manufactured pike that's available out there. But for us here, we're a good testing ground for this saber. As Nick said, in pike combat, the general points are scored by the thrust. We don't use pikes at Aiken Saber. We use Najinatas. So Najinata, you're going to have a blade hit on the side, which is going to change the force, of course, on the electronics. So far, so good. It looked like it took out. It looked like it sort of took out the Ronin a little bit. We're going to be after this thing. We're gonna put on armor, and then we're going to go ahead and play with these a little bit more, because that's what we do here at Aiken Saber. But we're going to go ahead and conclude. You got any concluding remarks, Nick?
No, thanks for watching. Happy New Year, and we'll look forward to bringing you more reviews and fights here as our class season kicks back off tomorrow night.
Yep. We're
Have a great day.
Yep. Everybody, take care of yourselves. Be safe. Continue to follow us here on Aiken Saber. Pass the word. We're out here to try to build the community. It's not just about our students here. It's about the overall Saber community out there. We want to spread the gospel and the word out among the general population and try to build the entire community. It doesn't matter whether you're Saber Legion, Lightspeed, TSL, Ludo Sport, Cosplay, or Flow, or any of those others. We're here to spread the word that there's a lot of activities you can do with lightsabers. So, everybody, have a good evening, and that concludes our review for tonight. Should be able to see it. Hi, everybody. Hi, this is Commander again, and we are going live with the combat portion. With the combat portion of the Ki Saber Commander. All right, Pike. So this is going to be just short. I'm not really prepared for it. I've got on some armor. This is for our lightweight system that we use, which is SITS, or I can use this for light speed. So this is not actually the proper gear, but it's what I wanted to carry, considering we got class tomorrow. So Nick and I are going to go ahead and just do some basic combat with this and get it out on Facebook Live just to show what can be done. Nick, how about you use the Ki Saber and I'll use the Ronin.
Oh, darn it. The Ronin has a longer blade.
You want, well, not that it matters much. So Nick was complaining because the Ronin has a longer blade. It doesn't really make any difference. We're hoping that we capture enough of this to show you what a Naginata can do, but more importantly, what you can do with a Ki Commander Pike. I don't care whether they're almost I got a little bit more. You've got a slightly longer blade, and I've got a slightly longer shaft. All right. So this is my Ronin setup, which frankly this was my favorite pike for a long time. We use these as Naginatas, so we don't really thrust with them. So it's going to be under SITS rules. Under SITS rules, you have to get the blade behind you, and then you have to make a 90-degree strike arc for it to score. All right, you ready? Okay, so under our combat rules, as you're watching it, you have to bring the blade behind your center point, and then you have to have full 90-degree intentional strike. What it makes for is more theatrical combat, but it's tough. It's hard. So we'll give you a good workout. All right, so now we're switching. He's got the Ronin, which is at no disadvantage, but I'm now using the Ki Saber. I can feel the difference. The balance is a little bit different, but it's just as enjoyable. Okay. Oh, this is long.
Yeah, but the blade's shorter. Foot.
Try and slow it down without hitting too hard.
No, not at all.
Oh, nice run. Nice. Okay.
See what we got. Well, looks like it just came unthreaded, unscrewed.
Think so?
There you go.
There we go. All right, Kyle, I don't know if you can see this. We're going at
Half power.
about half power on this. And so we were not hitting hard. He got just a hit. So
to be fair, we don't know yet if this came unscrewed and it got too loose and it popped out, or if it was the blow that struck it. But somehow we got to disassemble here.
yeah, so we're gonna stop. We're gonna stop this here. This was the operational test. The rest of the pike is just fine. I will bring a video so you can kind of see where it happened. So, what does that mean? Well, nobody else that I know of in the Saber community fights non-Janata style like Aiken Saber Academy. That should not mean that this pike would not stand up past the contact in either Saber Legion or in Saber Combat League. But we're gonna give this back to Ki Sabers. He's gonna take a look at the video to see where it was, and he's gonna make his recommendations. And his recommendations may be not to be used other than a straight-on thrusting style pike, or with smaller cuts or strikes than we use here. All right, so we're gonna call it a night. I'm going to resolve the issue with my friend at Ki Sabers, and we appreciate everything that you guys do to support us. Have a good evening.